very organic, natural decision to make. What is some advice that you picked up early on in your career, or that you see other people pick up, that they follow to the letter, but it's actually really bad advice?
They follow to the letter. I don't know if I've heard this as advice, but it certainly seems to be the attitude that I see all over the place. And I used to adhere to it. And that is be as thorough in your testing as possible. And you know, the problem with this is that we'll never thoroughly test everything. I mean, unless your software is hello world and nothing else, you can't test every possible code path. As soon as you add concurrency or multiple threads or an operating system with multitasking capabilities to the mix, you know, there's infinite possible ways your code might be used. You can't test everything. So trying is kind of a losing game.
When you say the word test, what is the context for the usage of that word? You know, because to give it some weight, testing in the way that you just described, I think it was coined in the 1970s or 60s, where it was conflated with an analytical proof that the code works. You know, that was a test. And I think a lot of junior engineers that come into unit testing and even TDD, they see test as, this is a, you know, factual proof that my code works. And it's not how, let's say, mature engineers use testing as a way of quality assurance. So where is the line? Like, this is obviously a huge spectrum. What is testing when you say, like, we don't need to test or thoroughly test? What does thoroughly test in this context mean?
So what I mean specifically in that statement is it is literally impossible to execute the code, either execute it or analyze it sufficiently to be certain that it will never fail. That's impossible. Now, what I mean by test, it depends on context. I don't mean specifically or uniquely unit testing, automated unit testing. I mean, anything you could do to validate code, whether that is unit testing or end-to-end testing or having 100 monkeys run it through through something, whatever, I don't care. There's nothing you can do literally to ensure that code will not fail. There's nothing that can be done to ensure that. You can get maybe to a certain number of 99.999, certain percentage, but each percentage point is 10 times more expensive than the last one. So we need a different approach, and that's the point I'm making. But back to your question of testing. I look at testing broadly. I mean, I'm an advocate for TDD, but I don't believe that it's sufficient. That's one common misconception among, I don't know if TDD practitioners say that or just the people who don't like TDD say that TDD practitioners say that, but it's not true. TDD is not sufficient. That's good, but it's not sufficient. I think that quality QA engineers can be a very valuable asset on a team, but they should be doing things that computers can't do. If you just have them reading a script and clicking through the same rote thing over and over again, script that and let your QA's brain do something useful that computers can't do. So we misuse QA testers in that sense a lot in this industry, which is very sad. We have highly skilled people doing work that literally trained monkeys could be doing. I mean, we train our computers to do that. Stop wasting your money and people's brain powers on that stuff, guys.
A lot of my clients are software developer in test, I believe is the FANG acronym, and sort of QA engineer or QA automations engineer that are sort of bored at work. You know, they're being paid big bucks to make sure that nothing bad gets deployed on Amazon or Netflix, but then they don't do anything creative. You know, they don't actually contribute to the engineering side of the product. They just, clean up the gunk that's around the sort of deployment artifact. Or just give feedback. You know, they don't even get to fix it. They just get to say, oh, it's red. Oh, sorry. Back to, hand back. Oops. See you in 2 months. Jonathan, regarding